Welcome, dear friends, to Individual Dissipation of Glamour, the preparation and formula. So we will just assume that everyone has identified and named an individual glamour, and that we're ready to follow the stages of preparation and the use of the technique of light. Yvonne.
The potency of an integrated group composed of disciples who have a common vision and an established group purpose is very great and can be a real service to mankind. The newer Aquarian techniques include such group endeavors. The published writings by the Tibetan and Alice A. Bailey provide information for wise and useful experimentation in group work, which is undertaken as a spiritual world service and not as a means of spiritual unfoldment of the individual aspirant. Such group action, voluntarily entered into, when not dominated by autocratic leadership control, and if undertaken with due humility and caution, is greatly to be desired at the present time. Such action should be recognized as being pioneering experimental ventures. Groups of this sort have already appeared in various parts of the world and may well contribute to the success of the work of the new group of world servers. I ask, I ask therefore for your service along these lines. And I request also that you give increased attention at the time of your full moon contact with myself. This group should have a special aptitude for work along the lines of dispelling glamour at the period of the full moon. I will therefore ask you to intensify your effort each month at the full moon period and seek to strengthen your tie with myself and with your fellow group members. One word of warning only will I give. Success along this line will bring both its rewards and also its difficulties. You will have to watch with care for the undue stimulation of your astral or emotional nature, with consequent and subsequent glamour. You will have to exercise the deepest watchfulness in the endeavor to work thus on the astral plane, holding simultaneously the attitude of the observer on the high plane of the soul. No constructive work and no service of vital importance can be rendered in this difficult sphere of activity unless there is detached and liberated attitude. You are to work in one of the most difficult spheres of activity, perhaps the most difficult to which a disciple can be called. And hence, the advisability of working there in group formation. I cannot emphasize too strongly that you are to work as a group and not as individuals.
Alignment. Before we begin, let us align as soul and as a group and see our group approaching. Breathe in effortlessly and easily. See our group moving through the field of lotus blossoms, lining our path towards Master DK's study. We pause at the ivory door, which opens as the Master greets us and invites us in for our contemplative approach to advancing as a discipleship group. Into the study and dissipation of glamour as individuals supported by this group. We stand around Master DK and see 3 windows filled with light. We stand in silence as he turns and faces the east. Together, we enter into this point of light. We enter into a beam of directed, focused light, revealing a greater light and illumining the way to the center of the light. Assume the attitude of the observer. Envision your etheric body, your aura, which includes your health aura. Envision your astral emotional aura, and finally, your mental aura, encapsulating your expressed etheric radiance and your place upon the path of evolution, your personality instrument. See the outline of these spheres, these auras in a unity. Now imagine the interconnections, the elemental and Davic streams flowing, relating, connecting these auras as a single unified field, and sound the words of Roberto Assagioli. I have a body. I am not my body. I have emotions. I am not my emotions. I have a mind. I am not my mind. Now lift the attention within these united spheres to the highest point, the deepest point of life within your being, the soul, and say, I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design.
As we begin the preparatory stages, let us sound the protective formula that is given for group and world glamour in that formula, because we are working in group formation on behalf of many who will join us. So we say in unison as a group, using the sign of the cross of divinity, touching the head, the forehead, the center of the chest, the left eye and the right eye. As a soul, I work in light, and darkness cannot touch me. I take my stand within the light. I work, and from that point, I never move. We begin by recognizing the glamour to be dissipated. We affirm our willingness to cooperate with the soul in physical, astral, and mental ways in order to aid us in doing this more technical work. Ponder briefly on the implications in this sentence. Willingness, cooperation with the soul in physical, astral, and mental ways. Consider the individual glamour that you choose to work on and recognize the ways in which this glamour affects the daily life and all relationships. Focus the light of the mind and the light of matter in the mental vehicle. This is done by a process of lifting up and of blending and fusing the light of matter with the light of mind, using the creative imagination. Now meditate on soul light. That light that emerges as we sound the soul mantra. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Bring the soul light from the highest point and bring about the fusion of the light of matter, the light in the atoms of the brain, and that dual light with the light of the mind. And now fuse and blend that light with the light of the soul upon the mental plane. Realize these three lights as one unified light. A searchlight, growing in power and luminosity on the plane of mind, ready to be turned in the needed direction. Now, as we did in the preparatory phase as a group, align your personality. See the three aspects of your lower nature as constituting that one functioning personality. Integrating soul and personality. See the personality and the soul as a unit. as the soul, accept the dedication of the personality to the soul. And now, with the light in mind, the triple light, see these two lines of thinking, personality and soul, producing a field of magnetic thought and realization. Know that that field of thought and realization, as the lights are combined, focused and blended, will grow and expand over time. Now we pause to focus the spiritual will as we hold the mind steady in the light. At this point, the pause is to brace oneself for the work to be done. There is a slight modification as we move from a profound preoccupation with soul contact and our initial preparation to now focus the attentive mind upon the glamour to be eradicated. It's not involving a consciousness of the glamour and its why and wherefore, but a turning of the attention of the integrated soul personality to the astral plane and the particular glamour on the astral plane. The attention's not turned to the astral body in seeking to do this work. This is a statement of major importance, because in destroying the peculiar type of glamour with which one is concerned, one begins to destroy their share in it. That in them which gives contact with the glamour, and at the same time prepares for the group service along this same line that will eventually follow. We take on this difficult task, holding the mind steady in the light, focusing the spiritual will. Personality, soul, will, as we begin the technique or formula. Now, by an act of the creative imagination, endeavor to see and hear the soul, the source of light and power in the three worlds. Breathe out the Om inaudibly from the mind, the head, into the mind of the attentive, waiting personality. Fusing and blending the light of the soul with the dual light of the personality. On the breath of that Om, the light and the power of the soul is retained and held by the positive personality. Note, it's not a negative attitude, for that is not desirable. It is a positive personality holding and retention of the soul light. Now, this retained light and power, combined with the dual light of the personality, focused as we have on the mental plane, is seen generating an intense light, which can be visualized as a searchlight of great brilliance and strength. It must be seen as a sphere of vivid, brilliant light, but not yet radiating out or projecting outwards. Now, when this active visualization is deemed to be satisfactorily accomplished, a pause ensues, wherein all the will one has is focused behind the light that has thus been created by the fusion of the three lights. Patanjali refers to this as the mind held steady in the light. This use of the will, the soul personality will, is dynamic, but still at this stage is quiescent and not magnetic or radiatory. All the will, with the fusion of the three lights, the soul personality will, dynamic, but yet quiescent. The brilliance expands and grows and is as yet not yet directed. There's an important realization in the next step. The glamour to be dissipated and this searchlight of the mind are now brought into relationship by the power of thought. The glamour and its quality and the searchlight and its power are recognized to be as they are. The glamour and its quality and the searchlight and its power are recognized to be as they are. And the effect or effects to be brought about by that relationship are carefully thought out. This has to be done in such a way that the mind process, the light and power, will not strengthen the already powerful glamour. It must be done in such a way that at the close of the process, the glamour will be appreciably weakened and eventually dissipated. Master DK says this is a very important realization. Carefully thinking out the relationship, using the power of thought, the relationship of the glamour and its quality with the searchlight and its power, that they are recognized to be as they are. Now, having as far as possible at this point in our process to have achieved the needed concentration, realization, and relationship, then by an act of the will and using the creative imagination, you turn the searchlight and see the vivid beam of light stream forth and now pierce the glamour. The glamour that you have identified as the individual glamour that you're now working on. Visualize a broad, brilliant beam. This beam pouring forth from the illumined mind onto the astral plane. Believe that this is so. And now comes an important and difficult phase in which the glamour's named and seen in the process of dissipation. This process is aided by saying with the focused, immovable will that we identify with the DK term tension, and inaudibly sound the 3 sentences. The power of the light prevents the appearance of the glamour, and name it. The power of the light negates the quality of the glamour from affecting me. The power of the light destroys the life behind the glamour. So having brought the glamour, the quality of the glamour, in relationship to the searchlight, the focused, brilliant beam of light of the mind, by uttering these 3 sentences, this constitutes an affirmation of power and of purpose, enunciated at that point of focused, immovable will, with the mind held in steadiness and with a positive orientation, dissipating all 3 aspects of the glamour, preventing the appearance, negating the quality, and destroying the life behind the glamour. Again, inaudibly sound the sacred word with the intention to produce what in the occult world is called an act of penetration. The light is sustained, this vivid, brilliant light, piercing the glamour and making a definite impact upon the glamour, penetrating the glamour and being absorbed by it. dissipating it slowly. As time elapses, the glamour will never again be so powerful and will eventually disappear altogether. It is wise to pause here to create the most potent visualization that you are able to, but not to extend it too great a length of time. Now, at the close, withdraw consciously and deliberately. Withdraw the beam of light. Back to the mind. The mind is no longer focused upon the astral plane and upon the dissipation process. And take the time that you need to reorient yourself upon the mental plane. Now today, because we've done this process as a group and done the individual glamour dissipation as individuals, let's return to our group focus so that we realize at this point of closure that we have done this as a group on behalf of all of those who are now joining us or who will join us, and also to prepare us for the work as a group. So let us sound the mantra, radiance we are and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus, with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. Sound a silent Om, affirming our intention and our commitment.